This is our last full day at the cabin, so we want to get an early start. The weather's really mild. It must be around 20 degrees above Fahrenheit. Got a really starry night. I got thinking of all my years up here. It's probably the first time I come out and had a relaxing morning cup of coffee outside in January like this. Dead calm. Again, the stars are really bright yet, and we think there must be a meteor shower, the number of shooting stars we've seen flying across above us. Got big plans though for our last day. We're going to start out early and we're going to do a winter walk over to Sven's cabin and hit a few highlights around the route. Well, we're finally off to a walk to Sven's cabin. Cleared off nice last night, but still only dropped down to about 20 degrees. Really pleasant, so I'm going to head out here with no hat, no gloves, and see what we can find around the Sven's loop. First stop on our tour is Tired Pine Island. It's only a few hundred meters from the cabin. But this was the site of, I took this picture with my old friend Everett as he stood next to the original Tired Pine. That old pine had finally fell the rest of the way over, but what it was a long time ago, a big white pine had blown over, and then one of the lower branches started to grow up, and it became the main part of the tree. And then the rest of the part of the tree kept striving and arcing upward toward the sun. But it finally succumbed to the weight of the end and fell on over, but that's why I put these barricades up to protect some of the young seedlings that were sprouting up in here from the original tree. They're big enough now, I don't think the deer will bother them. So we'll head on down the trail on our way to Sven's. If there wasn't a track in the snow, the pink ribbon would let us know we're going the right way. It's so nice of weather. Kevin's back there doing a wardrobe change. It doesn't take very much to stay nice and comfortable tromping down through this on a morning like this. Heard a few woodpeckers, but otherwise it's just this quiet.
Oh wow.
There's the restroom if you need it.
Yeah.
May have to duck a little bit to get in. But that's Sven's outhouse. All that remains really standing around here. Everybody comments it must have sunk into the ground, but I've looked in there and now you can tell where the seat was, and it hasn't sunk at all. It was that short to begin with. Get a little kindling, Kevin, and we'll fire it up.
Yeah.
Back at one day, that was a real nice addition to a homestead. Nice big stove like that. On this Sven's cabin loop, now we're heading a little bit north from his cabin. There's this opening in the woods, and it's just amazing. This huge timber in here, a big white pine, red pine, which they call Norway up here, and some really big cedars. You just don't find timber like this around much anymore. And it's really nice because of we have birds, squirrel maybe. The open understory. Makes it a beautiful place to come and have your lunch. And not too far from that nice big open canopy, we come walking back through some other growth. Some nice big Norway back there. And we just walk on a little bit here. Gonna have an abrupt change again. We break out into this really nice area of mature white cedar. Beautiful open understory. You can wander around in here quite a ways without any obstruction. It's a nice spot to bump a big owl off the roost. You hardly ever get to see what they are, but you'll see them going ahead of you. Here in that big open canopy thing, that's really nice up on top, and then we get looking down and we can kind of reenact a little scenario here. Here's a deer track, there's a pretty good sized wolf, and then here's right over here, there's a big wolf. And we can tell by the snow that it happened yesterday when it got warmed up some, because it's kind of a melty track. So there was a real nice North Country scenario going on in here. Well, not so much fun for that white-tailed deer. It was probably a pretty frantic moment. You can see by these tracks here that the hunt was on. Wolf tracks right on top of the deer tracks. There's no ravens circling or no birds chirping like there's a dead deer laying ahead, so I'm going to assume the deer made it away. Now we're up in the white pine forest. Beautiful high canopy of big old time white pine. Very scarce up in the areas now. We're nearing the end of our Sven's loop, and they have Kevin climb up on the Cedar Throne. Usually we don't do this in the wintertime, but it's too good of a photo op.
Oh, pretty good. Hollow.
It's hollow. See, that's the big joke. That's the highest, most natural toilet in the woods.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you even got a footrest.
There's your other step. So.
You want me up there, right?
No, you don't have to. But Kevin noted it's hollow underneath, or the whole tree is hollow. So it is truly the world's, or our forest anyway. It's the highest throne around we have. Made out of white, it's an old white cedar that blew over, the top blew out.
Cedar, okay.
So it's going to be there a long, long time. We've had a fantastic walk. Beautiful day. We've probably been out for a few hours. Virtually, not shirt sleeve weather, but no hats or gloves. Now we're coming into the cabin from the south. Coming up through, this is the, either side of this is what I call the Calypso Gardens because of all the orchids that grow down here. So I think it's time to go into the cabin. I don't see any smoke coming out of the chimney, but I'll bet you it's nice and toasty warm in there yet. Gonna go in and put some water on to boil and take a little break. We can't waste too much time though, so again, this is the last day. We gotta keep moving.